target is low, like flag's not moving at all.
Okay, so it's going to be around that 22 something, isn't it?
Yep.
Let's just see. 22.85.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Should be around 100.
Right here.
Yeah, 99.5. And just go to bugger all wind in there.
Yeah.
Can you see any at all?
No.
Okay, so just go 2 left. RLS and spin. Got that, got that.
We actually have a light mirage, but it's pretty good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back at half. Okay, so that's 99.5. Where is our target? There it is. Oh. Cool. On. Okay. Do something. 3 shots.
Radio, mate.
This is new stuff, fresh ammo loaded last year, but
Okay.
really fresh. Let's see what we get.
Good to go. Hit on plate.
Oh,
Beautiful. Yeah, just off centre. Awesome.
Wow.
G'day guys, welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. That was a video from 2020 and I put it on because I want to have a bit of a discussion about cold bore, the cold bore hits. That one wasn't a cold bore, that was just the first shot hit. We'd actually, as you see in the initial video, I go through and explain that I had 3 shots off camera at closer range to check the zero on the scope and make sure it was all good, and then we're really sort of 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, I'm on to that target and you see the first shot and you see the hit there. And I put that one on amongst other ones I could have. There are some cold bore shots we have on the channel. There is a fair few first shot hits on the channel, but the general thing is what you see. Our first shot is a bit of discovery, particularly in a cold bore, and then we adjust onto target. And I suppose that's the normal way. But what I wanted to do with this video was go through and explain a little bit. And that's for a couple of reasons. There's the gaming world, the people that call a rifle a sniper. Good on your games. But the gaming world who think there's a different, cold bore's a different thing. There are some people, content providers, that are putting forward stuff in a different thing, more down the myth of a cold bore. And more down the line of, oh, you've only got one shot, only one chance, and if you don't get it then they're going to get you, and that sort of stuff in the gaming scenario, and a little bit of reality, I'll say a little bit of reality from the military world. There's also the people, the politicians and the law enforcement that have this great fear about this cold bore and what it can actually do, what's all involved with that. So I want to go through and make it a little bit real, what we're actually talking about. The quick description of a cold bore, for those who don't realise, is a couple of different things we're talking about. There is cold bore or cold bore shift, which is for target shooters and people who are setting up with hunting and really understand their rifle. For some rifles, the cold bore shot, so when it's stone cold and you haven't fired it that day, or it is cooled right down, it's cold, is that when it's dead cold, not being fired, there can be a slightly different position or point of impact between cold and once it's fired. There's all sorts of things happen as a barrel warms up and that sort of stuff, but that's one term of cold bore. The other term of cold, which is what most people would call true cold bore, is it's the first shot where the rifle's cold, but also what you're actually describing is what the conditions are out there, that sort of stuff. There hasn't been a shot fired that you can see what's going on, not from your rifle or from another rifle. There hasn't been a shot fired so you can see what's actually happening out there, where the bullet is, what the adjustment took. you can see the invisible, which is what the wind's doing, especially as the wind's up in the air. For people don't realize, the wind where you're standing and even as close as 50 yards away can be different. You go and walk outside there, you'll feel that the wind's different at different places. Well, 50 yards can be different, 100 even more different, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000. You can have multiple different levels of wind at different heights, at different rates, at all sorts of things that cause it. And to the largest degree, you can't see wind. You can see what the wind affects when it blows on a flag, or it blows on the grass, or it blows on trees, but you can't see it if there's nothing in the air. So Mirage can tell you a little bit, but only a very little bit, of what the wind's actually traveling when a bullet travels on an extreme long range shot. So cold bore is describing that you've managed to get all that right, or wherever that goes is the cold bore, and then you start to adjust because you've got something to look at where your bullet actually went for where you thought it would go. So that all done, what I want to explain about true cold bore in the fashion of what you can actually expect. To get on, as I did in that target there is a lot going on. There is both my interpretation and Sam, my spotter's reading on what we've worked out, what the wind's doing, that side of things. There is very much knowing what the rifle's doing, what the round is doing, what your equipment's doing, what your shooting form's doing, what everything you have to do perfectly to make all this work. And then the simple truth of this is you need to be lucky. I would put down to, from years of doing it, and yes, I'm one of the people that have literally thousands of shots at ELR distances and have really seen this. Not only seen what happens on the cold bore, but seen what happens in groups and shot after shot, and understand that it can be from one shot to another with just 15 seconds difference in the shot, or 30 seconds or 1 minute or whatever it is, that it can go to a different position, and you didn't have anything to tell you that. So when you're cold bore, you just don't know. And my assessment of what is a real thing about cold bore shooting in the way of the first shot is probably something like about 1 MOA is how close you can get. So 1 minute of angle, which means approximately 1 inch at 100 yards about 1 MOA at 100 yards is what you're going to see. And then, and I haven't got real maths to go with this, but once you get to 1,000 yards, you really can double that, 2 MOA. So that doesn't mean 2 inches. At 1,000 yards, that means 20 inches is roughly what you're talking about on your cold bore shot. That's because you can't see the wind, and it's just amplified. And then I'd go up to another MOA for every 1,000 yards, roughly every 1,000 meters. Another MOA. So what I'm actually saying there is, yes, we're going to 2 MOA at 2,000 yards. So, yeah, that's talking about 40 inches is what you can expect on first shot. You might get better. You might be able to get it back down to your 20 inches. You're still 20 inches off. So in the sniper world, in the gaming world, all that sort of stuff, you have to understand that that's what you're really allowing for. The likes of true snipers, I suppose, something that most people don't seem to realize. It's in the games, that's what they do, is go and shoot things, which is what seems to be the title of what a sniper is. That's why the rifle is called that, and that's what a lot of people, it's a very negative connotation that goes to the rifle because it's made for killing humans. Well, it can do that job. Lots of things can do that job, but the truth of what a sniper does, and most deployed snipers, the majority of them don't get to shoot at anything, is what actually happens. The observation is largely what they do. There's lots of other things involved with it, but forward intel, going forward, observation is largely what they do. Some do a lot of that sort of work. The next bit that I say about true snipers, there's obviously military as well. Every time I've ever got to speak to them, the majority of them would say the majority of their work happens inside 100 meters. You know, some are out to 300 meters and 400 meters, but the majority of it is in closer range. That's where their work, especially in the police side of things, that's where more of their work is, inside 100 meters. They train out at further distances, but the simple thing is, if it needs to be that definite hit, and then you do that same maths on it, you've got a 1 MOA is the best. That you're probably going to be 1 MOA on your first shot. So at 100 meters, 100 yards, You've only got an inch. You can be very accurate. You go to 500 yards and you put, really you're talking at 1.5 in that sort of stuff is what you'd expect of an MOA. So you're moving into 7 inches on top of probably what's the best it's going to do is a 3 to 4 inch group. You can be talking a 10-inch miss at 500 yards in a true cold bore situation where you don't know what the weather is. So I suppose just a bit of reality to it. It isn't this amazing thing of better equipment, better training, you can do better, you can do better. No, you can't see those conditions, you can't see that air. There is people going to say, oh, but these guys who've done this one shot, these world record kills, sniper kills. Yes, there is. The truth of the majority of that, it has been done by walking in. There is 1, 2, 3, or a dozen shots involved. Some might have been the day before and they've already worked out what's going on here. There's a little bit of the well where now some units are going out with the deliberate intent to, with the equipment, the training, the ammunition, everything to try and create a world record. I don't really want to talk about that side of things. There's some other issues I feel involved in that sort of stuff, and I should stay out of what I don't know. But that moves into a different situation, and you also have to understand is that the same things apply. There needs to be prior rounds to get to that information to make that happen. Or the other huge ingredient, which is what happens for me as well, and without any question, is luck. Luck is a big part of this. You have to understand something. All those groups I just said are real. When we're talking, let's say the 3,000 yard shot and what I can expect in my cold bore sort of thing, I'm talking about 3 MOA of inaccuracy is the best I can hope for out there. Now that means I'm talking about 90 inches. That's the best I can hope for. But that 90 inches might be exactly the 90 inches to correct what I got wrong. What I aimed, where I thought it was going to go, and I dialed on, and I then was wrong by that amount. And if you get what I'm saying, 2 wrongs in that situation end up making a right. 90 inches too far what I set up, the 90 inches in correction of what my first shot was, and I'm on target because I'm lucky. And I would always be the first one to put my hand up and say that. And I suppose that's what I want to come back to in a real sense, is that once you get out past the mile particularly, then realistically a cold bore shot is about, and a cold bore hit is about luck. Yes, you need to have the skill. Yes, you need to have all these other bits to do it with and get close and be consistently close for sure on your first shot. But to actually hit, you need luck. And of course, that also means the person who doesn't have everything else working for them, if they have enough luck, then they can get there as well. But the fear of it being used with military precision because more skill, or with a brilliant target shooter or someone who can just make it happen if they just try harder, no, it's not a case of that. It involves, to make it happen, it involves luck. And if it does need to happen, you need to get closer. So that's the real job of what a sniper does, and the person has to do that sort of stuff. And it's the real job of what a hunter does. Being able to follow things up, being able and practice at long range and all that sort of stuff, our target shooting side of things gives you an immense amount of knowledge and skill in being able to do a better job at closer ranges. But if it really is that one shot, there isn't any fantasy, or the fantasy world of some would say the sniper saying of one shot, so you got to get it done, so they just got to get a better skill. Yes, it is one shot, you got to get it done. Means you've got to get closer. You've got to get inside that 1 MOA. You've got to get inside to where you have a 5-inch group, and that's all you're allowed. So that's inside the 500 yards. And like I said, in most cases, it's inside 100 yards. So be it hunting or be it whatever that job is, inside there is a definite thing. And that's where the cold bore shot counts. And that's where you have one shot and no other shots, all those bits and pieces. That's the reality of it. The cold bore thing, yes, there's even competitions. There's other details that they have a lot of their own skill involved with it, but the thought that you can simply get better and do a better job with better equipment, or that a very powerful round can do it by being extremely accurate with a lot of skill, and there's the fear of that, just remember the rule. I just said that's a real thing. 1 MOA at 100 yards, 2 MOA at 2,000 yards, 3 MOA at 3,000 yards means that no, cold bore is just simply going to be lucky. So if it really needs to happen, it doesn't happen. Anyway, guys, I hope that made some sense. I would like to make our world a little smarter place, even for those guys that call a rifle a sniper. I would much rather our world be about reality, especially when a myth like this becomes into fear that's unjustified, unrealistic, and never going to happen. Now guys, thanks for checking in. We'll catch you next time.
Give us 5. Oh, sorry, 5 left, 5 right. I want 5 right.
Okay. Well, we're good to go.
Okay, dialed. Bit of manager.
Bottom left, just off, just low in front. That was left edge, about an eighth of a target low.